They're going to continue it. Appreciate you being able to get on the phone. I think that we just want to make sure that we're all like working together here as a team. And the deer in headlights was like, don't make me make this decision. Let me talk to someone. So I'm glad that we had the opportunity. And what is the decision if you want us, because we don't have a motion on the table, which is good. What direction would you like us to make a decision or continue?
Oh yeah, sorry, I turned it off earlier.
Appreciate that. The continuance would be fine.
Continuance, okay. I will entertain a motion.
Okay. Oh, sorry, let me get back to it really quickly.
We just need to.
I move that we continue the Fairway Townhomes proposal to another meeting. We have a specific
As
day?
determined between staff and the developer.
Okay, as determined between staff and developer, and direct the applicant and the staff to work with the, specifically the developer, to work with the HOA on their CCNRs and to comply also with our code section 191605 on the sloped roofs. 2A. sorry.
2A in particular.
Well, 2A in particular, but it's, yeah.
I have a first. No, 2A is what we think is.
Well, because it's just two. Yeah, we'll just leave it.
Is it all of two?
Just all of it.
Okay, I have a first that was clarified. I have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion at this time?
No, all I was going to say is 2A and C.
We're just going to do all of two.
We'll just
So
all
that's
of
how
two.
we did it. I have the standing motion on the table. Any other further discussion? Councilman Podeska?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Michael McComber? Aye. Barch?
Aye.
Porter? Aye. The motion passes unanimously. Item number 2, we have had a request, thank you. Item number 2, we have had a request to table that. If I can get a motion to table that.
So
item.
made.
Was it a table or continue?
Same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
To continue the
We're going to have
table.
this on the 20th.
So basically, we'll have it in 2
Table
weeks.
until the 20th.
We're just trying to finalize some details. They didn't get finalized, and so if I can entertain a motion for item 2.
So made.
Second?
Second. Oh, you second, sorry.
What's that? No,
you second
I'm
it?
looking for a second.
Oh, okay, I'll second.
Councilman Podeska?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, great. All right, item number 3, resolution enacting pending ordinance doctrine regarding the definitions of river corridor, sensitive lands, and amending the waterfront trails and buffer overlay zone requirements, resolution R18-14 dated today.
Can you read that again? I wasn't listening.
Who's got this item?
Stroud.
Great.
Yeah, what this is going to do is we're looking at the waterfront buffer overlay zone, and that, in a sense, is kind of an error because we don't have that zone. It's not a zone we have. So we're going to work at some language there. But we want to get this pending ordinance in place to address some issues that we think could come up. This would prevent the old code from being followed. So if the pending ordinance passes, any working on the working document we have for this code, that would be what's applicable at this point. Basically, it's kind of trying to
Get it sooner.
Stop something we think could happen while we work on this part of the ordinance. And so a lot of it has to do with working obviously around the river corridor, that sort of thing. Who pays for armoring around the shorelines, who maintains it, that sort of thing. And so we put this in place. We got some time to work more of the details of the code, but at least this code then is really in effect what a developer would have to work with.
It gives people a heads up, basically,
Yes,
that we're
heads
working
up.
on something and to have more conversation with you in the process, since
Correct.
it's maybe not as
Yeah.
set in stone yet.
This is not a public hearing, but you agree to it, you put that resolution, you approve that resolution, and puts this then pending ordinance doctrine in place.
Okay.
Yeah, so just point of clarification, the Utah code requires developers to comply with ordinances that are pending, but then it puts it on the cities to define what that means. What does it mean to be a pending ordinance? And if you recall, 3 or 4 years ago, we brought a code amendment that said this is what a pending ordinance is, and it's either the council passes a resolution indicating their intent to pass these proposed amendments, or it's gone to the Planning Commission first, and the Planning Commission's considering or made a recommendation on it. So this is the first option where you adopt a resolution enacting that pending ordinance doctrine.
Great. Is there any questions from the council?
One comment and then just a couple of minor issues. So just a typo on the actual title of the resolution, waterfront needs to have a T on it. I know we're all living in Utah, but
In the actual,
in the actual
Okay.
title. Sorry. Yeah, yeah. And then, so I actually had a concern, and this is something that we've kind of talked a little bit about before. Well, actually, one more item of clarification on 1925-012 on applicability. There's the Utah Lake Buffer and then the Jordan River Buffer. In the Jordan River Buffer, you're actually redundant in that within the text, you actually say within the Jordan River meander corridor boundary. In the Utah Lake Buffer, you don't do that on the high water mark. And I was just wondering if there was a reason, if we should make that consistent one way or the other. Does that make sense, Dave?
Yeah, we'll take a look at that,
Okay,
correct
perfect.
that.
And
as they go
then-
forward with the real ordinance.
Exactly. And then a question on the ownership issues, and I understand completely the purpose behind this, which is great. We want to make sure that the right people are taking care of this. However, if I'm not mistaken, the property owner of all of the sensitive area actually ends up being the city. So haven't we just put it back on ourselves? Because you can allow at that compromise line where, or that area in that buffer area where you can't have development, but you can still have boardwalks and all of those other kinds of things. My understanding from what we've seen with the lake anyway, is that the state actually wants us to own that.
The state, yeah, you're right, the state would probably require us to own it, but we can put the maintenance on the developer.
Okay.
So what we just need to do is change property owner to developer.
Okay, so we just need to make sure that's clear. And then,
Development agreement, that would cover that maintenance.
perfect. And then on the bank stabilization, and this is something that we've kind of talked about before as we're doing development, it actually says that you can't have the hard armoring except for where it's deemed necessary to restore the natural channel, but I think that there are actually times we're going to want hard armoring. So for example, if you've got, let's say somebody actually wants to come in and build a restaurant on the river edge, and they want to hard armor to make where they can guarantee that it's not going to get eroded and washed away further. That would also give them a very solid foundation to put, for example, a seating area out there, things like that. So I think that there are times when we would actually want some hard armoring that would make really nice immediate waterfront seating that a bioengineered or otherwise armored.
Okay, we'll take a look at that too.
So that's it.
One of the issues that Jeremy's worked with the state on this issue and said that the state doesn't like that. Or not Jeremy, but Gordon. State doesn't like that. They don't like the hard armoring. So they may not issue the permit, but that's just an issue to run into. So we may
Right.
need to add an exception there, except where the state of Utah says no. No to
Well,
hard armoring.
And I think that that's one of those things where if we can, because we're going to want to push for those things as we continue our waterfront development, especially on the North Shoreline, other places like that. And I think as the state comes to understand their role better, that, I mean, we've worked with them, we're starting to work with them on docks and things like that, and it takes time, but I think that's something that we can say, hey, look, this is a great example of how this can be done. It still protects the waterfront and the shoreline and all of that, but it can be done well, and it becomes a better amenity and actually protects things better. So I think that if we can put that into our code somehow to allow for that possibility, that would be better.
Any other comments, questions?
Do we still need a pending ordinance, or can we just pass this?
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve business item 3 as stated on the agenda.
Oh, sneaky.
I'll second.
Did you want to include changing the property owner?
Including the comments made by Councilwoman Barge. And Kevin.
But ours might have been diametrically opposed.
I don't think they were.
Basically, it was more just input as they're working on the pending ordinance, so I think we'll be okay. So I
Especially on
have
the ownership issue, though, that needs to get changed pretty quickly. And then the other one we can discuss amongst ourselves.
So we'll leave the motion as stated, originally stated. Any other further comments?
Motion just to approve.
Approve.
Motion
We're
to
just moving
approve.
to approve and not worrying about any of the additional comments, because I think we're going to be doing that when we,
Well, I think the ownership one we should actually change now.
okay,
Changing ownership to
to develop.
developer.
Yeah. Or however
The
the.
property owner to
The
developer.
maintenance, because it says maintenance performed by the property owner, but you correctly pointed out, we might be the property owner.
Right, so it should
we
be-
should say developer. So just
There you
change property owner
Property owner to
to
developer.
developer for the maintenance.
Okay. Yes,
So I have an amended first, and do I have an amended second?
second.
Okay, we'll go from the other way. Porter.
Aye.
Barch.
Aye.
Aye. McComber. Wilden.
Aye.
And Bedeska.
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously. All we have left here is minutes.
I'll
Is
move
there
that we
any,
approve the minutes.
I have a first.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Any other further comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No opposed. The motion passes unanimously. Do we have reason for closed session?
So
I'll
moved.
entertain a motion. Second.
Second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry, when did you say second?
We'll move,